Hello friends, Baltmatrix here, and today we're taking a look at Voyager class, Transformers Siege, War for Cybertron Trilogy, Starscream. This is the first of the Tetrajets, and he comes to me from Amazon.com. A big thank you to Ben over at BWTF on Twitter. I think that's the correct handle. He put up a notice that the figure was up on Amazon, so I went and grabbed him, and he showed up in 2 days, which is awesome. I've got him here on a Figma stand, or an SH Figuarts stand. He's got a little stand plug right in the back here, and it looks pretty darn good. The Tetrajet mode works really well. I don't care for all the mud and splotching and dirt that the thing has on it, but not much I could do about it unless I get get some cotton rounds and maybe some alcoholic wipes or something and just clean it off myself. I might buy another one and have my friend Chrome Tyranno, or aka Grimlockamus, go ahead and customize one for me, just, to clean it up a bit. Something that I'm actually pleasantly surprised at is the robot kibble does fold up pretty neatly underneath. It is noticeable, but it's not that bad. The null rays do pop off very easily, and the figure sports a couple of spots that you can combine different siege parts on. Just not enough clearance to use all the pegs. Transformation for Starscream is much easier than I was initially led to believe. To start off with, we're going to remove the null rays and just put them off to the side, and come to the wings and actually unpeg them from the upper forearms, and come to the back of the figure and flip up this chest component and unpeg that away. Then grab the top thrusters and pull that away from the figure and fold it up over the top of the Tetrajet. Then grab the wings, fold them all the way up like this. Take the nose cone and unpeg it a little bit, and then split it in half, and that peg is actually really tight. And we'll flip these bits all the way around, but before we do that, we need to actually come to the back or bottom of the vehicle mode and unpeg the forearms from the sides of the legs, flip the legs down, and then turn them 180 degrees. Take the chest plate and flip it down and peg it into place and snap it into place. And I will talk about that in just a minute, specifically the chest plate. Flip the head up, flip this gray piece that's behind the head, unpeg it from the back of the head and flip it down. And then we can flip these sections that make up the nose cone, fold it down, and then there are these red pegs on the back that will peg into those sections. Make sure the head is stationary. Come to the arms. Next, come down to the feet. Flip out the heels. Flip up the toes. Do the same thing on the other side. Then come to the arms. Open the forearms up. Flip out the fists. And extend the forearms to form elbows. And then close them up. The figure sports a nice peg hole on the bottom of the crotch that allows you to put them on any stand, and the overall aesthetic of Starscream works very well. The wings are a little bit on the big side, but they are pretty darn poseable, which I'll go over in a second, and the overall look works. It definitely feels like a Cybertronian mode of this classic character. I like it quite a bit. He's just a little bit on the dirty side. Starscream's head sculpt works incredibly well, however a lot of the detail is lost in the black. The eyes are red and the face is silver. Even so, the light piping is there and it works incredibly well. You even get light piping in the chest, which is cool. For posability, head can look down that much and can look up that much and is on a ball joint, though the ball joint is incredibly tight. Shoulders can move 360 degrees around, but you do have to move the wings out of the way. They've got full outward movement and a swivel just above the elbow. Double hinge at the elbow gives you full bend, and then there is fist articulation. The fists can swivel. However, when you open or try to move the fist in one direction, it opens up the forearm. Nothing's latching to close the forearm. Also, the fist on the figure's right, the actual swivel part is misshapen, and every time I try to move it, it pops out of place and I have to put it back in. Torso articulation is present. Figure can kick forward way high, Can kick back, well, that's a bit more limited. Can kick out and do the splits fully. There is a thigh swivel, but turning the swivel does hit the crotch. Bend over 90 degrees because of the transformation. Ankle articulation has a bit in and out, and then a whole lot forward and back. Starscream boasts a good number of siege ports. There are 2 on the bottom of his feet. However, they're not exactly tight, so I didn't put anything there. There is 1 on each lower leg, his fists, 1 on each forearm, 1 on each shoulder, and 1 port on each of the bottom of the wings. So you can effectively armor him up pretty darn well. Only complaint I really have about it is that a lot of the weapons are just too long to fit both the weapon on the shoulder and the weapon on the back of the forearm. And by the back of the forearm, I mean the bottom of the elbow. Nothing on the back, though you can sometimes use these thruster ports as siege pegs, and if you've got the right kind of peg, there's one that can fit right here above the cockpit. So there are some options that you have for combining up different bits and bobs onto Starscream. Size-wise, Starscream is definitely bigger than a deluxe, though he doesn't technically feel like it, and that's probably because of the thinness of the figure, but there's nothing wrong with Starscream except the chest. Now, I'm not sure what happened here, but it really feels like there needs to be a metal pin going through one side to the other. Unfortunately, it is not, and if you saw earlier when I did the transformation, you will notice that when you go to pick it up or lift it up, it unpegs way too easily. And that's a shame. Now, some people on Twitter are reporting that they are picking up Starscreams in Walmarts right now, and there is a metal pin going across. I'm one of the lucky ones. It holds together just fine in robot and vehicle mode, but as soon as I go to transform it, it pops off. My thoughts on Starscream are, he's pretty good. I like the overall look, and I think the aesthetic works well. Transforming Starscream back into Tetrajet mode is pretty easy. You saw the, jet to robot already. The only real thing you have to remember, and something I keep forgetting when I do this, is the chest. And I know I just talked about it, but you just gotta be really careful with that chest when you do the transformation. But otherwise, unpegging everything feels pretty good. The plastic feels good. And what I mean by that is, and my friend Vangelis always talks about this on WTF at TFW, there is a really good hand feel to Starscream and a lot of the Siege figures. Starscream probably has the best in terms of hand feel that I felt from the Voyagers next to Prime. I think Megatron is a good figure, and the Ultras are pretty good as well, but I really like this Tetrajet model, or mold. Though there are, as I said, a few things that can be fixed, specifically, the chest and the forearms. Those both could use a bit of TLC. Getting everything down together, everything pegs in well, everything lines up well. I'm not fighting it. Once I've got certain little bits, once I've got the nose cone formed, nothing is out of place. I'm not fighting anything. I'm not cursing at it. It's a pretty darn good figure. However, as I've said, the chest could really use a metal pin going across. The forearms need to be held in together better. And one last thing that I haven't mentioned before. There's flashing on the figure. And what I mean by that, there's a lot of extra plastic there, on the knees, left over for when the parts were cut off the runners, just in specific spots. Nothing I can't fix, sand down, or cut off myself. Just thought I'd make you aware of that. Overall, it's a solid figure. The Siege line continues to impress. If you could pick it up, I definitely would. I'm really looking forward to having all 3 jets in my possession, though I think I'm going to clean Starscream up a little bit. Everybody, thank you so much for watching this video review. As always, I am Baltmatrix. Be sure to hit that like, subscribe button, and be sure to ring the bell so you're notified when I've got a new review up. As always, thank you. I'm Baltmatrix, and I'll catch you next time.